Welcome to Chris Parkin Shooting Sports. Today you can see I'm here with an FX Maverick. I've been shooting this gun for about 3 months now in all sorts of formats, day scopes, night vision. I've tested probably 10 different types of pellets, all sorts of different ranges, dialing, squirrel shooting, night vision, thermal imaging, all sorts. So please stick with me to give you my overall opinion and findings about this rifle. FX supply, a full transit case for the Maverick. And you can keep all your spare pellets, magazines, air bottles and moderators inside. There's lots of space, although you do need to take the moderator off to fit it in the case. The Maverick fills with this Foster adapter on the side, and a Foster adapter for your diving bottle is supplied with the gun. FX recommend using the pressure gauge on the full diver's bottle itself rather than on the rifle, as this is more accurate for the 250 bar fill pressure. 250 bar on the dive bottle shows me about 220 on the FX pressure gauge. This underside Picatinny rail in front of the trigger guard does allow you to mount a bipod, although it's quite short wheelbase in terms of the stance between the rear and front of the rifle for stability when aiming. And of course the rifle is itself quite tall. It features the FX Smooth Twist X Superior liner, and in 5.5mm or .22 calibre, the length on this rifle is 500mm. Although I did a lot of the range testing using the Element Optics scope, this is the Titan, I found it very easy to swap between this and night vision scopes, and because using the PAR 008 meant I had night vision or daylight capability. I could also video, of course. So once I'd chosen pellets and done most of the range work and the chronograph testing and all the ammunition testing, I then swapped back over and between this and the PARD. Overall length is 850mm or 32 inches. Overall weight is 3.16 kilograms or 6.96 pounds. You will actually find you need quite a big rear bag because there's a large cutout here on the gun, and although you can just put a smaller bag under the back support here, and you've also got some vertical adjustment on the recoil pad, I just generally found it easier to use a tall rear bag which I could sandwich up and give plenty of space here for my hand to manipulate it as well, certainly when shooting from the bench. I think like any rifle, once you find the right pellet, everything just seems to drop into place, and with this gun the AccuPel was the one to me. Certainly in terms of one-off groups and overall long-term consistency.
I used a large selection of pellets through the rifle. All of them were acceptable, some definitely more acceptable than others. The barrel certainly favoured the lighter pellets between the 14 and 15 grain envelope, like these Acupels and Super Point Extras. I have to say, overall, I like the Acupel the best of everything. It certainly gave me the most consistency long term, and it would definitely suggest that the barrel's twist rate suits physically shorter pellets in 12 foot-pound specification.
Just to give you a bit of a size comparison between the lighter Acupels at 14.4 grains and the heavier JSB Diablo Heavies at 18.13. Although these aren't the heaviest pellets you can run in 2.2, I think they're about as heavy as you're going to run in a sub 12 foot-pound. But to give you a respective idea of comparable length of the two pellets, just open both of these up. The 14 grain Acupel are 6.2 millimeters long. Comparably, the JSB Heavies are 7.2 millimeters long. Might not sound a lot, but on the twist rate of the barrel, the lighter pellets certainly seem to work better in this rifle. Just to give you a comparable form example, these are the RWS Super Points. Although this one's still at 14.5 grains, being a pointed pellet, is longer at 8.1 millimeters.
After about 200 pellets through the barrel, it was fully leaded up, and it was clear these Acupels were the choice for me long term. These targets were all shot at 30 metres.
Once you get the knack of loading the magazines, it's pretty easy. 18 rounds in this one in 2.2 calibre. Twist that round, pop that off. You can either put them in one at a time like this, which is my preference to be honest, because if at any time you have to stop loading at all, you know, make a quick shot or something like that, it means you're just as easy to drop the follower back on its spring tension. But you can turn it all the way around and lock it in place using one pellet, which keeps it all locked in like that there, and then just go around and drop them in one at a time. I think it makes sense to drop each one in individually and quite carefully, because if you do pop one in upside down, it is a bit of a fiddle to drop just the one out that's upside down. You often drop several out, so you've kind of wasted your time by trying to do things too quickly. So slow, steady, and of course secondary, separate spare magazines, easy to buy, not expensive, and they give you great fast fire capability because the changeover is very quick. And to be fair, I think most people are quite happy with 18 rounds in a magazine, because by the time you've shot that many, you've either had a very good time or a very bad time. These Acupels are significantly shorter than even the 16 grain or the heavy pellets. The design's quite dumpy, but it does seem to suit the barrel stability better, and you get better precision and more precise accuracy and return to zero. You also have less problem with anything snagging, And it's important once that's locked on, just to make sure the pellet's not peeping out of the little hole here, because if it is, when you place it into the rifle, it will snag on the port. If it's in position properly, it'll go in easily just like that.
Operating the cocking lever is incredibly intuitive and fast-paced. The safety catch is quite rearward, so it's not the easiest to access quickly. It's certainly not near the trigger, but it definitely works when in use.
It's really important not to change the power setting when the rifle is cocked. So if necessary, check it's clear and then change between the well-detented 7 power stages. The return to 0 is very good, as just proven on target, and I generally always shoot on stage 7, which gives me full power. It's also important to read it at the bottom and not at the top, which is perhaps the most visible. But the numbers are actually upside down on the top, so if it looks upside down, it probably is. And if you're reading the bottom here, that's number 7. It does say in the instruction manual, if necessary, you can actually alter the power setting using an Allen key slotted through here. It's a 1.5mm Allen key, and that will give you very fine control of power when you're tuning the rifle. So using the same pellet, I'm now going to take a shot aiming at the centre target, one on each of the 7 power settings, starting with number 7. It's important to remember only to change the power setting when the rifle isn't cocked, so after firing. Number 6. Number 5. Number 4. Number 3. Number 2. That just missed off the bottom of the target. Number 1 will also miss, but we'll just show you that just to see. I'm not even sure that left the barrel. So I'm just going to withdraw the magazine and double check the rifle's clear, which it is. Now I'm going to return back up to level 7 and I'll take another shot back on the centre target.
Although the barrel is shrouded, the addition of the Donny FL moderator did reduce some firing noise. There's loads of Picatinny Rail on the right and left side for additional IR illuminators if you're using night vision.
Just to give you an idea of the noise difference, I'm going to change to the Donny FL moderator, and I'll just put my lavalier mic down in front of the chronograph there. So you'll be able to hear this, and I'll shoot it with the mod off and the mod back on. I don't think accuracy and precision was just quite as good with the Donny FL moderator on, but that all comes down to the fact that the harmonics of the barrel itself are affected by any mass added, and it may be that I would choose a different pellet again, although the Acupels have been super consistent throughout without the Donny FL on.
The 480mm buddy bottle is advertised to give around 600 shots in 177 or 22 calibers at 12 foot-pounds. I found I was recharging after about 500 shots, but to be fair, that was at the extent of using a full tin of pellets anyway. The 89cc power plenum really did smooth out the power curve, and I found I was getting consistent shot-to-shot point of impact from 5 to 45 metres throughout the test window, until the actual receiver pressure showed it clearly needed a refill. It's clear the dual regulated system is an exceptional way of achieving peak performance from any air rifle.
I especially like the FX's use of Picatinny Rail, and here it's a 20 MOA inclination on it. It made swapping between daylight and night vision scopes incredibly easy and intuitive, and I never had any problems setting up for eye relief or zeroing. Trigger performance and adjustability was fantastic, and I especially like the rubberised AR-15 type hand grip, because with it being a bullpup and very centrally balanced, meant you could handle a rifle quickly and intuitively with just one hand on the grip.
Trigger weight is 572 grams, which is 1 pound 4.2 ounces. £1 8.4 ounces, or 693 grams. £564 grams, £1 3.9 ounces.
The super compact bullpup layout and neutral central balance point make the gun incredibly fast and intuitive handling when in confined areas, especially places like the interior of barns when controlling rats or pigeons. I didn't really find myself adjusting the power. 12 foot-pounds was adequate, and I did tend to use the fine-tune capability with the Allen key through the little slot here to give me 11.5 foot-pounds in my chosen pellet. The Donny FL moderator certainly reduced a little bit more firing noise from the rifle, and the squirrels could not see where the pellets were coming from, although I was shooting at 30 metres, which is a little bit further than I would like to have normally. This left side mount here is great for an IR illuminator, and you can also see the Foster filling adapter, which does stick out a little bit, but it does make it easy to access for filling. The 18 round magazine offered plentiful capacity for fast shooting, quick reloads. I don't really want a larger magazine, it would become too bulky. The rifle is very right-handed. Although the magazine is smaller than the impact, it sits higher on the right-hand side of the gun. It's not impossible to shoot it left-handed, but it's certainly not particularly comfortable as your cheek fits exactly here.
I'd like to thank Sportsman Gun Centre for supplying the FX Air rifle, the PARD scope, as well as the Element Rifle Scope 2. And I'd also like to thank Redbeck Shooting Supplies for refilling my diver's bottle to keep this topped up, and also for a generous supply of pellets, including the AccuPels and JSB. Sportsman Gun Centre was very generous in supplying an extensive number of Caldwell targets, of which I've used many of them when zeroing, re-zeroing, testing, pressure testing, testing power levels and all the different types of pellets I've used, so thank you very much for those. So, I hope you've enjoyed that video. Thank you for watching, and please like, please subscribe, please comment, and please click that notification bell, because your comments are what drive future videos being made. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.